Stress, setbacks, all those unexpected challenges. Life really knows how to throw a curveball, doesn't it? But what if the secret isn't about dodging every hit? What if it's about getting better at getting back on your feet? Today, that's exactly what we're digging into. Resilience. It's the essential skill for not just getting by, but actually thriving.
So let me ask you something. When you hear the word tough or resilient, what picture pops into your head? Is it someone who's, totally stoic, someone who never shows weakness, who seems unbreakable? It's a common idea, but it might just be missing the point of what real strength is all about.
Okay, let's tackle that misconception head-on. The biggest myth out there is that being resilient means you're like a fortress, impenetrable, never feeling any pain. But the truth? It's way more human than that, and honestly, way more powerful. Resilience isn't about never falling down. It's all about your ability to get back up, to adapt, to recover, and to just keep moving forward.
So here's our roadmap for the next few minutes. First, we're going to define what resilience actually is. Then, we'll get into building your own personal resilience toolkit. After that, we'll talk about cultivating a positive mindset and lock in some really practical daily habits. And finally, we'll look at your path forward from here.
All right, let's dive right in. If we're going to build resilience, we first have to understand what it is we're building. It's time we redefine what inner strength really truly means. Pay close attention to those two key words: adapt well. See, resilience isn't about just ignoring a problem or gritting your teeth to power through. Nope, it's an active process. It's about psychologically adjusting, finding new ways to function, and maybe even thriving when things get really, really hard.
And that brings us to this fascinating idea called post-traumatic growth. This shows that resilience isn't just about getting back to where you started. For a lot of people, going through a really tough time can actually lead to some profound positive changes, like deeper relationships, a whole new outlook on life, or a much greater sense of your own strength. So adversity isn't just something to be survived, it can actually be a catalyst for becoming stronger.
So how do we build this thing? I want you to think of resilience like a muscle. It's not something you're just born with or without. It's something you have to strengthen over time with practice. So in this section, we're going to unpack the essential tools for your toolkit, what we'll call the 7 pillars of a resilient mind.
And here they are. These are the 7 core pillars that psychologists point to. It all starts with positive self-belief, and it's fueled by optimism and hope. It gets a huge boost from strong social connections. You need some practical problem-solving skills and the ability to regulate your emotions. And all of that is anchored by a sense of purpose and built on a solid foundation of self-care.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all that? Well, we start with the one thing we have the most control over, our own mindset. Let's look at a few simple but really powerful ways you can start to intentionally shift your focus, which is a true cornerstone of being resilient.
You know what? Instead of just talking about it, let's actually try one together, right now, wherever you are. This is an incredibly simple exercise, but it's a powerful way to start training your brain to spot the good things.
All right, you ready? First, just pause. Take a deep breath. Okay, now I want you to identify just one good thing from your day. It can be super small, that first sip of coffee, a song you heard, someone holding a door for you. Got something? Great. Now just acknowledge it. Really hold on to that positive thought for just a few seconds. Feel it. That's it. You just did 1 rep for your resilience muscle.
See how simple that was? And beyond gratitude, you can practice other things too, like challenging your own negative thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? And then consciously shift your energy away from what you can't change to what you can control.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about turning these ideas into real, concrete, daily actions. This is how you go from just knowing about resilience to actually living it. It's time to build that muscle one habit at a time.
Oh, we have all been there. You're facing a problem that feels so big it's just paralyzing. You have no idea where to start, so you end up doing nothing at all. A key resilience skill is knowing how to push through that feeling of being stuck.
So here's a simple 3-step method to tackle it. First, identify. Give the problem a name. Be specific. Second, divide. Break that big problem down into the smallest, most bite-sized tasks you can think of. And third, start. Just pick one, maybe the easiest one, and just do it. Any progress, no matter how tiny, breaks that paralysis.
Next up, navigating our own emotions. Look,
Being resilient doesn't mean you won't feel things like anger or sadness or anxiety. Of course you will. It just means learning how to steer your boat through those emotional waves without letting them totally capsize you.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's about identifying what you're feeling. Seriously, just naming the emotion can take away some of its power. It's having some go-to coping tools, like taking a few deep breaths or scribbling in a journal. And maybe most importantly, it's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a good friend.
And now we come to the foundation that holds all this up, self-care. And let me be perfectly clear, self-care is not a luxury. It is not some reward you get for being productive. It is the fundamental fuel that your resilience runs on. You simply cannot handle stress well if your tank is on empty. I want you to think of these as your non-negotiables. Prioritizing consistent sleep, fueling your body with food that makes you feel good, getting some regular movement or exercise, and, this one's huge, learning the powerful art of saying no to protect your time and energy.
Okay, it is so important that we pause here for a second and say this very clearly. These are amazing tools for building your everyday resilience, but they are not a substitute for professional mental health care. If you are really, truly struggling, please reach out and get help from a qualified professional. That is a true sign of strength.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's just reframe how we think about all this. Building resiliency isn't some project with a finish line. You don't just get there one day and check a box. It is an ongoing, lifelong journey of practice and learning and self-awareness.
And I want to leave you with this really powerful thought. You are not defined by what has broken you. You are defined by what you choose to do with the pieces. Your story isn't about the fall. It's about how you choose to stand back up and rebuild.
And that brings us to the final and most important question. This isn't about trying to do everything all at once. It's just about taking one small step. So looking at everything we've talked about, the mindset shifts, the daily habits, all those pillars of strength, what is the one piece you will start building with today?